So with all the new information about Monster Hunter Wilds coming out recently through a spate of new reviews, I think it's a fantastic time to get back into Monster Hunter World or just start it up for the first time, considering all the information we know. I'm going to round up all the reasons to get into Monster Hunter World right now or return to it if you are eagerly anticipating Monster Hunter Wilds. Wilds is clearly a spiritual successor to Monster Hunter World, and if you want to hit the ground running in Wilds, I think getting into World is a top tier idea. Currently, World is only £7.50 on the Steam store, and here's £7.50 worth of reasons to get into Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World serves as an excellent entry point for newcomers to the series. Its intuitive tutorials and streamlined mechanics, or the way it explains them, make it accessible without sacrificing the depth that long-time fans love. By playing World, you will familiarise yourself with the core gameplay elements, such as tracking, hunting, and crafting, all of which are integral to the long-term Monster Hunter experience. The gameplay loop in Monster Hunter World, and generally Monster Hunter games, is satisfying and addictive. Each hunt feels unique thanks to the diverse array of monsters, each with distinct behaviours and weaknesses. The game's intricate combat system rewards skill, synergy, and positioning, encouraging people to master their weapons and learn the nuances of their prey and their weapon selection. This depth ensures that you'll remain engaged and continually challenged, honing skills that will undoubtedly benefit you in Monster Hunter Wilds, whether that be understanding monster weaknesses, monster parts, tenderizing, toppling, use of mantles, or mounting. All of these have been confirmed to be back in Monster Hunter Wilds, and it's why it really makes getting into Monster Hunter World such a good idea now. Talking of things that are making a comeback, Tenderizing, aka wounding, is now confirmed to be in Monster Hunter Wilds. And I think one thing you can really garner from the Monster Hunter team is that they like this idea of tenderizing monster parts. Now, the player base weren't too keen on it in Iceborne due to the inconsistent nature of applying tenderize. Now, for those who don't know, in Iceborne, which was the expansion to Monster Hunter World, you had a clutch claw that allowed you to attach yourself to a monster, do a special move on them, which would then weaken the part, opening that part to extra damage and critical rate. That was something that was only added in the expansion. That wasn't the case in the core Monster Hunter World experience. The key problem with this mechanic was that it felt a little bit random whether or not you actually got the clutch claw on and the tenderize off in order to make that weak point, well, weak. But clearly Capcom liked the idea and have brought it back in Wilds, but seemingly made it a touch more consistent. Now, judging on the translations of the interviews I've read and a couple of other takes on focus mode and wounding, it looks like you're going to have a kind of zoomed in semi-slow motion mode where you click on a monster part and it automatically tenderizes that part, but you need to manually aim it. This seems to be a middle ground between Monster Hunter World's base experience of just having a high crit rate on weak parts and the Iceborne experience where you had to clutch on and then tenderize the part. It remains to be seen how this is implemented, but I like that they've moved away from the clutch claw mechanic. I think myself and many other hardcore Monster Hunter players were not massively keen on it. Now, from what I can tell, wounding seems to happen when you continually attack a part, thus making it weak. The focus mode then allows you to focus in on that weakened part, open it up for tenderizing. That's my take on the translations, though it hasn't been fully explained yet. But all in all, I do feel like this is going to be a more consistent tenderizing experience. Now, if you didn't know, in Monster Hunter Wilds, it is confirmed you can carry 2 weapons on any hunt with you. And yes, that means it can be 2 of the same weapon, 2 different weapons, a melee and a ranged weapon, etc, etc. Now, this is going to be incredible for people who have spent the time to learn multiple weapon types. It's going to add a lot of variety to your hunt and give you a lot of options depending on the monsters you're facing. Me personally, I'm a charge blade main. However, I do dabble in a lot of insect glaive play and hammer play, and I am looking to pick up the gun lance and dual blades and practice those a lot in the run up to Wilds. But this gives you so many options. You can carry, let's say, dual blades to apply elemental weaknesses, and let's say a hammer to stun and knock out monsters. So there's a lot of variety there. Definitely think it's worth picking up World to learn different weapon types, as it's going to stand you in good stead going forward in Monster Hunter Wilds. Now in the trailers for Wilds, they were keen to show off the immersive and interactive environments, and this is something from Monster Hunter World. Using a slinger to hit vines, rock traps, icicles, or whatever these things are, allow you to hit the monster, and in Wilds it's going to be a big part of the gameplay as there's going to be packs or herds of monsters, and using the environments to split the alpha from the pack is going to be a core part of your hunts. So getting used to this in World really get you into the rhythm of looking for environmental clues or environmental traps to help speed up your hunt. Now the Guiding Lands was a controversial, well I say controversial, let's say a slightly disliked part of Iceborne when it first came out. However, a bunch of patches and reworks and tweaks to Guiding Lands have made it a really enjoyable experience now. And honestly, when I was playing Guiding Lands, I did always think, I feel like this is like an experiment for the next Monster Hunter game, and it really has turned out to be like that. It seems like the environments in Wilds are going to be many different biomes in one per map that will change depending on weather events. Though that's slightly different to what you get in the Guiding Lands, where all the different biomes are in kind of one area, you're still going to get multiple biomes and different monsters per area. And honestly, the Guiding Lands is just super chill. I really enjoy it, just going around, farming whatever monster's coming in. If you need specific parts, you can lure out that monster. And I wouldn't be surprised to see similar mechanics in Wilds. And on top of that, I do feel the end game loop in Monster Hunter Wilds is going to borrow heavily, maybe a little bit, from the Guiding Lands. So getting used to that end game loop to keep your character leveled up or to keep them as min-maxed as possible so you're ready for new content. Because if there's one thing I've learned about Capcom, is they love to drop, for free by the way, new weapons, new meta sets, new meta weapons every couple of months. Keeping on top of that and having your character ready to face those challenges head on, a big part of the Monster Hunter experience. And one thing I have to add at the end is the raid Lite content that Capcom love to add for free to the Monster Hunter journey. Whether that be the Xeno'jiiva raid, the Sappy Jiva raid, the Kulvtarath raid, the Behemoth Final Fantasy XIV collaboration, I believe it was, all of them are absolutely fantastic. They always offer excellent upgrades or side grades to your gear. And they feel like something you really want to do. You want to push your character, and that honestly comes back to how good the combat is. You always want to challenge yourself with the next big bad monster. And also they offer fantastic gear, so that's always handy. There's one thing I'm really excited about Wilds is just to see how far Capcom will push this raid Lite content. That's it really. I think Monster Hunter World, if it isn't obvious, is an excellent entry point for players. And it's also a great time to get back into the game. There's a lot of new content that's been added and a lot of nice changes made to the Guiding Lands. So if you want to learn new weapons and practice maybe 2 or 3 weapons so you can go straight into using multiple weapons in Wilds, it's a great time to jump into Monster Hunter World. The skills, knowledge, and appreciation you'll gain from World will undoubtedly enrich your journey in the upcoming release, ensuring you get the most out of what promises to be an exciting new chapter in the Monster Hunter saga. So grab your weapons, grab the game for £7.50 from Steam, as well as Iceborne as well, to be honest. Gather your friends and embark on a hunt. There is no better time to get started. I'm super excited for Wilds. I love what I've seen so far. I love the changes they've made to Tenderizing. That was the one thing I didn't want to come back, was the clutch claw tenderize. I'm delighted they've moved on to something that seems to be more consistent. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see the monsters that are coming out. They always start off with the basic monsters and build up slowly to the flagship monsters. Can't wait to see what they've got in store. And this is easily my most anticipated game of 2025. Saying that though, there's a lot of amazing games in 2025. Anyway, peace out. Take care, guys. Yes, like, subscribe if you want. Cheers. Peace.